My sisters, let me tell you something. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who knows her worth. Because when a woman understands her value, she stops negotiating with life on discounts. She stops settling for crumbs when she deserves the whole table. She stops letting people misuse her love, her body, her mind, and her time. A woman who knows her worth is a woman who refuses to be broken by the opinions of others, and instead she lives by the truth of who God says she is. Self-worth starts with self-respect. The first lesson is this: you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you continue. If you keep letting disrespect slide, that becomes your price tag. If you keep ignoring red flags, that becomes your standard. A woman who knows her worth does not allow anyone to rent space in her life who cannot afford the cost of respect, love, and loyalty. Your worth is not determined by who wants you. It is revealed by who you refuse to settle for. A woman of worth values her time. Time is life's most valuable currency. A woman who knows her worth guards her time because she understands that every minute she spends is a minute she never gets back. She doesn't waste time waiting on someone who doesn't see her value. She doesn't waste time chasing what's not meant for her. Instead, she invests her time into growth, healing, and becoming the woman God called her to be. Love yourself before you love anyone else. If you don't love yourself, you will confuse attention with affection and control with care. A woman who knows her worth doesn't beg for love because she already carries love inside her. She loves herself enough to walk away from toxicity. She loves herself enough to demand respect. She loves herself enough to understand that her body is a temple, not a playground. Self-love sets the foundation for every other relationship in your life. A woman's worth is not in her looks, but in her mind and spirit. Don't let this world fool you into thinking your value is in your appearance. Beauty fades, but wisdom grows. A woman of worth is more than curves and features. She is vision, resilience, and wisdom. She carries herself with grace because she knows her mind is sharp, her heart is pure, and her spirit is strong. When you know your worth, you stop competing with others, because you understand that your greatest competition is becoming the best version of yourself. Boundaries protect your worth. A woman who knows her worth has boundaries like walls with gates. Not everyone gets access to her. Not every opinion gets her attention. She knows when to say yes, and she knows when to say no. Boundaries don't make you mean, they make you wise. They don't make you difficult, they make you respected. Every time you enforce your boundaries, you reinforce your worth. Purpose is the ultimate power at the end of the day. The true power of a woman who knows her worth is that she knows her purpose. She understands that she was not created just to be someone's option, someone's possession, or someone's entertainment. She was created to walk in purpose, to influence generations, to birth visions, and to shift atmospheres. When a woman knows her worth, she doesn't chase people. She chases her calling, and in doing so, she attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right kind of love. Ladies, hear me clearly. When you know your worth, the world can't play you. Pain can't break you, and fear can't stop you. You become a force, a light, and a blessing everywhere you go. So my challenge to every woman listening: stop questioning your value, stop lowering your standards, and stop giving discounts on something priceless. Walk like you are worthy, because you are. The truth is, everything begins with self-respect. You can't talk about worth without first talking about respect, because the way you respect yourself sets the tone for how others will respect you. Life has a way of teaching you through patterns, and people only treat you according to the lessons you allow them to learn. If you let someone walk all over you the first time and you do nothing, then you just gave them permission to repeat it. If you allow someone to talk down to you, to disrespect you, to ignore your value, and you stay silent, you're teaching them that your silence is acceptance. That's why I always say you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you continue. Think about it. If someone hands you crumbs and you take it with a smile, they'll never feel the need to offer you the whole loaf. If someone gives you the bare minimum and you act like it's enough, then that becomes the standard of what you receive. A woman who knows her worth understands that she doesn't have to accept the minimum when she was designed for the maximum. She realizes that settling is not humility, it's self-betrayal. When you know your worth, you no longer apologize for wanting respect, love, and consistency. Those are not luxuries, those are basics. Now, this isn't about arrogance. This isn't about walking around with your nose in the air, demanding everyone bow to you. No, it's about carrying yourself in such a way that your energy commands respect before you even open your mouth. It's about holding your head high because you know your value isn't based on what someone else thinks about you, but on who you truly are. It's about not being afraid to walk away from anyone who cannot meet the standard of respect you set for your life. Some women stay in cycles of disrespect because they fear being alone, but let me tell you something, being alone is not the worst thing. Being disrespected, devalued, and drained while in the company of someone who doesn't see your worth, that's far worse. A woman who knows her worth understands that solitude with peace is greater than companionship with chaos. She respects herself enough to choose peace over drama, growth over stagnation, and dignity over desperation. And here's the key: you don't set your value by what others give you. You set it by what you refuse to accept. Every time you say no to disrespect, you increase your value. Every time you enforce your boundaries, you reinforce your worth. Every time you walk away from something beneath you, you rise higher into the life you deserve. So, my sisters, remember this: self-respect is not just a choice, it's the foundation of your worth. If you want the world to treat you like a queen, you've got to stop living like a servant to people who don't value your crown. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have. Money can be replaced, possessions can be replaced, but the moments of your life can never be refunded. That's why a woman who knows her worth does not waste her time. She doesn't spend years waiting on someone who refuses to change. She doesn't invest her hours in meaningless drama, gossip, or situations that bring her down. She understands that every tick of the clock is part of her destiny, and once it's gone, she can't get it back. You see, when a woman values her time, she values herself. Time is a reflection of worth. How you spend your time shows what you believe about your own value. If you constantly pour your time into people who don't pour back, you're telling the world that you don't deserve reciprocity. If you give your time to relationships that don't grow, you're telling yourself that stagnation is acceptable. But when you realize your worth, you become intentional about every minute, every hour, and every season of your life. A woman of worth uses her time to build, to learn, to heal, and to grow. She's not just busy, she's productive. There's a difference. Busy people waste time spinning in circles, while productive people invest time in things that lead to purpose. She asks herself, does this relationship add to me or drain me? Does this habit grow me or keep me stuck? Does this environment feed my soul or starve my spirit? And if the answer doesn't align with her purpose, she is not afraid to move on. That's not being cold, that's being wise. Too many women waste years waiting for someone to recognize their value, not realizing that the longer you wait on the wrong person, the longer you delay the right one. Time wasted cannot be regained. That's why a woman who knows her worth has the courage to cut ties when necessary. She refuses to sacrifice decades of her life in exchange for moments of false comfort. She knows that her time is precious because her destiny is priceless. And let me be clear, valuing your time isn't just about relationships. It's about your goals, your dreams, your peace, and your growth. A woman who knows her worth doesn't let procrastination steal her future. She doesn't let distractions keep her from her purpose. She's careful about what she consumes, what she listens to, and what she gives her energy to, because she knows all of it shapes her tomorrow. So I'll say this: guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Every wasted year is a year you can't get back. Every wasted moment is a seed that could have been planted into your destiny. When you truly understand your worth, you stop giving your time to people and things that don't deserve it. You stop chasing what drains you, and you start building what grows you. And when you do that, your time becomes not just minutes on a clock, but steps toward the life you were created to live. One of the greatest lessons a woman can ever learn is to love herself before she tries to love anyone else. Too often, women give away pieces of themselves hoping that someone else will complete them, when the truth is, love starts within. If you don't know how to love yourself, you will confuse attention with affection, control with care, and abuse with passion. A woman who knows her worth understands that she is not desperate for love, because she already carries love inside her. She has built a relationship with herself so solid that whether she is single or taken, she never feels empty. Loving yourself means setting the standard for how others will love you. If you don't honor yourself, others won't honor you. If you neglect yourself, others will neglect you. When you love yourself, you treat your body with respect, you protect your heart from toxicity, and you refuse to settle for relationships that break you down instead of build you up. A woman who knows her worth doesn't beg for love, she attracts it, because real love is drawn to wholeness, not brokenness. Too many women try to pour from an empty cup, giving all their energy to people who never pour back into them. But self-love says, I will not pour myself dry for someone who does not value my water. It's not selfish to love yourself. It's necessary. Because when you are full of self-love, you can love others from a place of strength rather than weakness. You don't love out of fear of being alone. You love out of abundance. You don't love to fill a void. You love because your cup is already overflowing. Self-love also gives you the courage to walk away. When you truly love yourself, you don't tolerate toxic love. You don't beg someone to stay who clearly wants to leave. You don't accept lies, betrayal, and inconsistency just to have someone by your side. You realize that being alone with self-love is far more valuable than being with someone who chips away at your soul. And here's the beautiful thing. When you learn to love yourself first, you become a magnet for the right kind of love. You start attracting people who respect your boundaries, who honor your spirit, and who appreciate your worth. Why? Because you've already set the tone. You've already shown the world how you expect to be treated. So, my sisters, understand this. Self-love is not a luxury, it's a foundation. Without it, every other relationship will crumble. But with it, every other relationship will rise to a higher level. When you love yourself, you stop chasing, you stop begging, and you stop settling. Instead, you walk in confidence, peace, and strength. And in that walk, you discover that the greatest love story you will ever live is the one you write with yourself first. This world will try to convince you that your worth is found in your looks. It will sell you the idea that beauty equals value, that your curves, your skin, your hair, and your face determine how much you matter. But the truth is, looks may open a door, but it's your mind and your spirit that will keep the door open. A woman who knows her worth does not live by society's shallow standards. She understands that beauty fades with time, but wisdom and character only grow stronger. When you place your worth in appearance alone, you will always feel insecure, because there will always be someone prettier, younger, or more glamorous than you. But when you place your worth in your mind and your spirit, no one can compete with that, because no one else can be you. Your perspective, your intelligence, your wisdom, your kindness, and your faith, that's what sets you apart. That's what makes you powerful. A woman who knows her worth invests in her inner self. She feeds her mind with knowledge, her spirit with prayer or meditation, and her heart with positivity. She understands that beauty without substance is empty, but beauty with wisdom is unstoppable. When you walk into a room, people may notice your appearance first, but it's your energy, your confidence, and your spirit that will leave the lasting impression. The danger of placing all your value in how you look is that you start competing with others instead of competing with yourself. You start measuring your worth by comparison, and comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, peace, and confidence. But when you know your worth is rooted in your mind and spirit, you stop competing with other women, because you realize the only competition is becoming a better version of the woman you were yesterday. And don't misunderstand me. There is nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, dressing well, or loving your reflection in the mirror. But when your looks are all you rely on, you've placed your value on something temporary. True beauty is not in what you wear, but in how you carry yourself. It's not in your makeup, but in your mindset. It's not in your body shape, but in the shape of your heart. A woman who knows her worth carries herself with grace, because she knows that her true power is in her wisdom, resilience, and spirit. She doesn't need to prove herself through her appearance, because her presence alone speaks volumes. And when you build your worth on things that cannot fade, your character, your strength, your faith, your wisdom, you become unshakable. No trend, no opinion, no aging process can take that away. So, my sisters, let the world admire your beauty, but let them respect your mind and spirit. Because beauty might catch attention, but it's your wisdom, your resilience, and your soul that will change lives and leave a legacy. Boundaries are one of the greatest signs of a woman who knows her worth. Without boundaries, your life is open territory for anyone to walk in and take advantage. But when you know who you are and what you deserve, you learn to draw lines that protect your peace, your energy, and your value. Boundaries are not about being hard to love. They're about teaching others how to love you properly. They're not about pushing people away. They're about making sure the right people stay close and the wrong people stay out. Think about it like this. Your life is a house, and boundaries are the doors, the gates, and the locks. Not everyone deserves a key. Some people only need to wave from the sidewalk. Some may come into the living room, and only the trusted few should ever make it to the kitchen or bedroom. But when you have no boundaries, it's like leaving your front door wide open for anyone to walk in, sit on your couch, and put their feet on your table. A woman who knows her worth understands that her love, her time, and her body are too valuable to give unlimited access. Many times women struggle with setting boundaries because they fear being called difficult or mean. But here's the truth. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries are always the first to call you selfish when you finally set them. Don't let that guilt trap you. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you wise. They don't make you cold. They make you strong. And the more consistent you are with your boundaries, the more respect you will earn. A woman who knows her worth says no without apology when something violates her peace. She doesn't feel the need to explain herself to everyone because her life doesn't require the approval of outsiders. She understands that saying yes to everyone else while saying no to herself is a fast road to resentment and burnout. Boundaries are not about shutting down love, they are about protecting it. They allow you to give love freely without being drained because you know your limits. And let me tell you this, boundaries will expose who really respects you. When you say no, the wrong people will get angry, but the right people will understand. The wrong ones will try to manipulate you, but the right ones will honor you. Boundaries don't just protect your worth, they reveal it to the world. They separate those who want to use you from those who truly value you. So, my sisters, never be afraid to draw the line. Protect your energy, protect your peace, and protect your value. Boundaries are not walls that isolate you. They are gates that protect the garden of your life. And when you guard that garden, you give yourself the chance to flourish, to grow, and to bloom into the woman you were created to be. At the core of a woman's worth is her purpose. When a woman knows her worth, she also knows that she was not created by accident, and she was not placed here just to take up space. She was created with intention, with vision, and with divine assignment. That is the ultimate power. Too many times, women tie their value to relationships, to titles, or to material things. But when all of that fades, the only thing that will keep you standing is knowing your purpose. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady when life storms come, and it's the fuel that pushes you forward when you feel like giving up. A woman who knows her worth doesn't spend her life chasing people, she spends her life chasing purpose. She understands that relationships, opportunities, and blessings flow naturally when you are walking in alignment with your calling. That's why she doesn't panic when people leave, because she knows that purpose will replace what pain removed. She doesn't waste time fighting for a seat at the wrong table, because she knows she has her own table to build, her own vision to fulfill, her own light to shine. Living with purpose also changes how you handle challenges. When you don't know your worth, every rejection feels like the end, every closed door feels like failure. But when you know your worth and your purpose, you realize that rejection is just redirection. Closed doors don't define you, they protect you. A woman of worth understands that even in her pain, her purpose is still alive. And sometimes the pain is the very tool that shapes her into who she needs to be. Purpose is also what keeps you from settling. When you know you were created for more, you won't waste your time in places, jobs, or relationships that suffocate your growth. You won't let fear stop you from pursuing your dreams, because you understand that your purpose is bigger than your comfort zone. And you won't let the opinions of others silence you, because you know your calling doesn't require their approval. The most powerful woman is not the one who has the most money, the most followers, or the most recognition. The most powerful woman is the one who knows her worth, walks in her purpose, and refuses to be moved by anything less than God's plan for her life. She is unshakable because she doesn't live for validation, she lives for destiny. So understand this, your worth is not just in what you look like, what you have, or who you're with. Your worth is rooted in the fact that you were created for something greater. And when you walk in that purpose, you don't just change your own life, you change lives around you, you influence generations, and you leave a legacy that no one can erase. That is the ultimate power of a woman who knows her worth. My sisters, hear me clearly. A woman who knows her worth is unstoppable. She respects herself so deeply that she teaches the world how to treat her. She values her time so much that she refuses to waste it on what doesn't serve her growth. She loves herself first so she can love others from a place of strength and not weakness. She knows her beauty is more than what's in the mirror. It's the wisdom, the resilience, and the spirit she carries within. She builds boundaries like gates around her life, not to shut people out, but to protect her peace and guard her value. And most importantly, she walks in her purpose, understanding that her life has meaning. Her pain has lessons, and her journey has impact. When a woman knows her worth, she doesn't settle for crumbs because she knows she deserves the whole feast. She doesn't beg for love because she understands she already carries love inside her. She doesn't chase people or positions because she knows what belongs to her will meet her at the right time. She no longer shrinks herself to fit in rooms too small for her spirit, She builds her own rooms, her own tables, and her own opportunities. The power of a woman who knows her worth is not just about her. It's about every life she touches. Her children rise with more confidence because they saw her strength. Her community grows because of her wisdom. Her relationships flourish because she set the standard for what real love and respect look like. She becomes a light in dark places, a voice for the voiceless, and an example for those still learning how to value themselves. So today, I challenge every woman under the sound of my voice. Stop questioning your value, stop negotiating your worth, and stop giving discounts on something priceless. You are more than enough, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are worthy of love, respect, and purpose. Never forget that your worth does not decrease because someone else failed to see it. Their blindness does not change your brilliance. Walk like you are worthy, speak like you are worthy, live like you are worthy, because when you do, you won't just change your own life, you'll change the world around you. That is the undeniable power of a woman who knows her worth.